Let's go! Wait, Kiko! Where are you going? It's time for the Little Farmer Show! Hey everyone, I'm Kiko! Hey, I'm Hava! Yay! I'm Tiki!
Hello, it's me, Rob.
Yippee! Hey, I am Maisie!
Maisie, stop running! Hello, lovelies. My name is Carol.
How are you doing? How's your week? My week has been good and I'm doing very well. I'm your host, Larry, here in Asifiwe International Academy, and there's another host,
Hava K, and we're here at Asifiwe International Academy, still talking about urban farming, but today we're going to be focusing on microgreens and recyclables. So remember, I had told us that we should prepare for the next episode. So little girls and boys, have we gotten the recyclables that we're going to be using for planting today? Guys! Yes! Let's start farming!
You want like from Psyche.
So each of us is going to pick up a bottle or jerry can. Does everybody have a bottle?
Yup.
Yeah. You all ready?
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, this is interesting. We are so happy to be back in this second episode. We did the vertical farm in the other episodes, and since you know VMG, we mainly deal in designing urban farming technologies. So in this episode, we are going to have these container gardens. Do you all have the container gardens?
Yep.
Yes.
Are we to plant in them?
Yes.
Yeah. So we obtain these containers in the environment, meaning we can reuse what people call as waste for us to use it to plant our food. Now, when you're choosing a container, first and foremost, you have to look at what crop are you going to put in this, because the different crops require different space requirements. Now, for such leafy vegetables like we are going to see, for these we can put the other leafy ones, things to do with, what did we spinach?
Yes.
So you know these things, yeah. So here we can put the skuma wiki and spinach, and in these small ones we can put things to do with carrots. However, you have also to consider the rooting depth.
Yes.
Now this is properly cut for something to do with a tuber. Now that a tuber is carrot, so you can put it in this. So we have our handyman who has just joined the team, Mr. Steven. Help us bring the soil, please. Oh. So he said what you have to consider, the depth, yeah?
Yes.
For you to know what type of crop are you going to put there. You need to know the space, what is the space requirement needed by the crop, and the rooting depth as well.
Yes. So Ms. Joan, everyone has their tins filled with soil. What is in the soil? Does it contain fertilizers?
Yes, we have a few. We have fertilizers in this soil, but it's mainly organic. In this soil, we always add in what you call biocombust, and that mainly deals with improving on the texture and the color. As you know, soil has to have that dark color to absorb in more sunlight. Then when it comes to the water absorption, like the texture now, it can hold the water very well for the soil. It adds on the heaviness of the soil. So that is the use of the biocombust. And then we add in what we call the cricket frass. Cricket frass is very good in nitrogen. Then we have what we call the worm castings, that's the ones the earthworms produce.
Yes.
Those ones are very good sources of nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. Then also they improve on the soil structure itself. So with that, the soil is not so loose.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms Joan, what are the advantages of urban farming?
Okay. In general, urban farming involves people at home. The children get to be involved and they learn how things grow, and we get out of that box of knowing that things come from the fridge. Yeah?
Yeah.
At least we cease from knowing such. We get to know that the plants grow from the ground, and that's where we get to harvest them from to take them for cooking or to prepare them for food. Then the other thing is it helps people in land-constrained areas, communities, to grow their own food.
Yes.
Now we have left that agriculture of people having to have, like you have to first have huge chunks of land for you to do agriculture. Now we can plant crops in a small space as small as 1 square meter. You can
Yes.
have your food within just a small space. The other thing is we add on the beauty of the environment. Seeing green,
Yes.
that's green everywhere. It gives that therapeutic treatment to the person. Seeing green, you can get that relief.
Yes.
And the other thing is people do it for leisure. You can decide to do it for leisure as a hobby. Urban farming, you can decide that my hobby is to do agriculture, and then you come in a small space, you plant your crops. Then the other thing is to do with earning income. When you produce, you can sell the surplus and also giving some to your family and others. Also, things to do with recycling material, helping us with the proper disposal of our waste in the environment, like how you see this.
Today's episode has taught me very many important things about our environment. And our word today is recycling, a very big and important word. Now, recycling means putting to use or reuse all the products that you ordinarily would throw away, like plastic bottles when you finish drinking your juice, or maybe a plastic basin that you can no longer use, or maybe you have gumboots and lost one gumboot. That material you can use and make small gardens instead of throwing it out into the road or wherever you throw it, because it does not degrade and is harmful to our environment. So let's practice recycling and also how to dispose of this material very responsibly.
So now that we have filled it with soil, what do we do next?
Now, basing on the containers we have, the shapes, the different shapes that we have made, we're going now to base on them to determine what kind of crops you're going to plant in them. So, Javi, what do you think are you going to put there?
I think I'm going to put spring onions and sukuma wiki.
Spring onions and sukuma wiki. So, Amari, what kind of crop do you think you're going to put in your garden there?
I'm going to grow carrots because they're healthy and they can fit in here. Their roots can fit in here and they help improve your vision.
Okay, thank you. So, Hava, what do you think are you going to put in your garden here?
And I'm going to grow celery because it will be my first time growing celery and eating celery.
I think this is going to be so interesting, us growing our own crops, not so?
Yeah.
Yeah, so can we have our seedlings, please? Mr. Steven, could you please help us present the seedlings? I'm going to show you now from the spring onion. When you're transplanting a spring onion, it's not the same way you transplant celery or the same way you transplant spinach or the same way you transplant carrots. Now for spring onions, Jeva, can you please pass one spring onions? Oh, thank you. Now this is our seedling. Here we have 3. Yeah. As we said last week in the first episode, that when you are removing a seedling, you have to squeeze it from its planting pot, and you have to make sure that it comes with its soil, right?
Yep.
Why does it have to come with its soil, Javi? Can you give us the reason?
That doesn't cause damage to the roots or shock.
Yeah, thank you. So different crops are transplanted in a different way. The way of transplanting spring onions is different from the way we transplant sukuma wiki or the way we transplant spinach and so on and so forth. So with spring onions, when you're transplanting them, you have to make sure that these branches are off. Why? When you remove off these branches, you're going to fasten because it's leafy, it's a leafy onion.
Yes.
So it's going to have that fastness in getting other new ones. The rejuvenation process is going to happen at a fastest rate. Then when you leave them and then you transplant it, they're just going to dry and die away.
Yes.
You get it? So are we all ready with our crops?
Yes.
So we should start planting now. I told you earlier, when you're removing the seedling from its planting pot, you have to squeeze it and make sure it comes with a soil. Why, Javi? Why do we remove it with its soil?
To avoid damage and shock to the roots.
Okay, thank you. So can we all have our plants? Any question, Lisa?
Excuse me, Ms Joan. Am I able to mix these 3 plants in this container, and what is the advantage?
Those ones, you can't mix them in one container, that small container, because it's small. Yeah? That is very small. The space is not enough to have 3 plants growing in the same container. But you can mix. Yeah? If you have enough space, you can mix. For example, if you mix this onion with maybe skuma wiki, this is going to have a repellent effect on the pests. The smell the onion produces is going to repel our pests. So you're going to be having the pest effect in that way. Is it clear?
My plant has been...
Yes, we make a hole, a depression. A smaller hole.
Like this?
Yes. But you're going to, this one you're going to plant one plant. You're going to put, what kind of plant are you going to put? You're going to put one of them.
Teacher, what? Well, my plant has been bitten by caterpillars. Does it cause any damage?
We should leave it out because it's spoiled.
Sorry?
It is spoiled, we should leave it out.
What?
Is this spoiled?
When it's bitten by caterpillars...
If it's eaten in between, in this...
In the leaves?
This bud here, we should leave it out. We don't plant it.
Which bud?
This bud, the terminal bud in between.
Show me the terminal bud.
The terminal bud is in between leaves. This. If we don't have this leaf in between, then we don't plant it, we discard it. We said earlier that after transplanting, you have to make sure the plants receive water regardless whether the soil is moistened or not.
Ms Joan,
Yeah.
I know the next step is watering, but before we water, what do we need to know about watering? I don't want us to drown our plants.
Okay, first and foremost, you have to consider the water quality. Yeah?
Yes.
Water quality. Our treated water, tap water mainly contains chlorine.
Yes.
So, before watering using tap water, we have to make sure that chlorine is fumed out. And how do we do that? Most of the times, I always recommend people to use things to do with jerry cans, or if you can get a drum, you can keep your water for something like 12 hours before watering it here.
Yes.
But for the water we're going to use today, we are just going to sprinkle and make the soil just moist. For this kind of soil, the one we have here, it is called sandy loamy soil. It's sandy loam, so we don't need a lot of water. First and foremost, its particles, they have a very good water holding capacity. It's not clay soil.
Yes.
So we need to just make the soil moist. It requires enough amount of water. You just need to make the soil moist. The other thing is about the soil, you have to make sure you don't do direct watering, because direct watering makes the soil to form what we call a soil cap. Yeah? That is like coming out of compaction. When the soil is compacted, it forms what we call a cap. You see soil as if it has thing to do with like a cement structure on top.
Yes.
So to avoid that, you always do what we call using a watering can. Watering can has, the water is pressurized. Those droplets are a bit minimal. They can't cause that effect. The other thing is when our soil gets compacted, we always do what we call earthing up. Earthing up, we are going to get a stick, something like a stick or a knife, and then you try to do what you call loosening the soil. This is what we call earthing up.
Alright.
You get? So those are some of the main things we do to ensure quality. First of all, quality, the soil quality maintenance, and also the water. And for instances where you don't have this modern watering can, you can improvise. You know, urban farming is about creativity.
Yes.
You use what you have in your surrounding, within your vicinity. So we always get those small bottles and then put in some holes in that lid, the bottle top. Then we have those outlets which we can use to water. Yeah. Now for this we have a modern watering can. For us, we are lucky today we have a watering can. So we're going to do the watering, and you just make sure just that is enough. Yeah? Have we seen?
Yes.
So can have the water for us. Just little. That is enough. So everyone can water their own plants. Let's have everyone to water. Just little
Enough.
water. Don't make it muddy. You say we don't have to make it wet.
Just
to
moist.
be moist.
Moist.
Thank you.
I like the word moist.
It's enough. Everyone can have a watering can and they water their plants. Always
I think that's
use
enough.
chili. Do you know chili?
Yes.
So chili, always mix it in water and then we sprinkle on top of our crops. It can repel pests. We also have what we call ash. Do you know ash?
Yes.
It's burnt wood. Just burnt wood.
You put the ash on the like tomatoes.
Yes.
And then
Yes, you already know the things that is interesting. Then if you can access rabbit urine, you can also use it. Can we access rabbit urine at home?
No.
But there are people who are doing rabbit farming.
Yes.
So you can collect it from there. But you have to take precaution on the dilution factors. When you're using rabbit urine as a fertilizer, you always mix it in the proportion of 1:6. That is 1 liter of urine dissolved in 6 liters of water.
Yes.
So rabbit urine has two importances. It can be used as a fertilizer, and sometimes it can also be used as a pesticide.
Yes.
As a fertilizer, it's a very, very rich source of nitrogen. That is a vital nutrient for our crops. Even our kitchen residues themselves, things to do with the peelings from the different foodstuffs, we can put them on top. You know that we can also do mulching on these containers.
No.
Yeah, you can incorporate them. After them decomposing, they are incorporated with the soil, producing the manure.
Yes.
Yeah. Then even grass, dried grass, where you can put it. It is also very good media.
So, Ms Joan, you are talking about mulching plants. So what can we use for our plants here?
Okay, you can have a variety of residues that we can use. For example,
We can use the banana peelings,
okay, you can use the peelings. Thank you. You can use
dry grass.
Yeah.
And also my question was like, can you use dry grass to mulch?
yes, we can use dry grass, and we don't use fresh grass. Why do you think we can't use fresh grass? Anyone who can try? Yes,
It's
Larry?
too fresh for the soil.
It's too fresh for the soil.
I think because it will grow back, like it will grow and it will take the sunlight that's supposed to be for the plant.
Yes, grass contains those seeds for the weeds, so it can grow, it turn out into a weed that can be disastrous to the plant.
Can you use like fruits that aren't like cut or anything, as like spoiled fruits as manure for the plants?
Yes, we can do, as long as something can rot. We said as long as something can rot, it can be used as manure.
So thank you, Ms Joan, for your time and answering all our questions. Little farmers, let us not forget to dispose of what we cannot, like the plastics and the caveras. Let's not just litter them. Let's not litter Kampala. Let's not litter our homes. Let's not litter our compounds, but let us practice recycling and proper disposal of waste. So now we have had an amazing time and we are growing, planting very many vegetables, and we've learned that you don't need to have a lot of land. Just at the corner of your compound, you can grow all your veggies for next week, for the other month, and it's so fun to watch them grow. And on our team, we've had
Javi, Yaniv,
Divine, Sheba, Heva,
Lisa,
And Amari.
Larry.
We can't forget you, Larry. And our teacher who has taken us through Ms
Joan from VMG, that is Vertical and Micro Gardening, Uganda.
I am your host, Hava, and
Larry.
until next week, on our next episode, we'll be talking about something amazing, microgreens. Till then, bringing coolness back to farming!
Okay, be sure to watch the Little Farmers Africa show next time.
Bye-bye and see you!
We're little cheeky, walk on the farm and life amazing. Cows and dressed with a touch of green. It's fun for all and rubber grease. On the Little Farmers show, we farm, we learn, we grow. Your favorite children's show.